Energized Coach coming to you with a series that's going to take about 3 parts for me to complete, but I'm going to start with 5. Uh, the reason why I decided to start this particular series is because I noticed that sometimes I seem to be getting the people ignoring the need to increase their energy, or they're in denial or feeling like they don't need to increase their energy. So I decided to create this particular video to start. Now it's going to be a total of about 17 points, but I didn't want to overwhelm you with having it in one part because everything that I may list in all 17 points may not relate to you. So what I wanted to do was I'm going to start with the first 5, and hopefully by starting with those 5, you can maybe pick something out of those 5 that you may struggle with, and hopefully some of the information that I'm going to share will be able to help you be able to address that issue that you're having for whatever reason, so that you can be able to, I don't know, get the energy that you need, because we all need energy to be able to do whatever it is we're doing, if it's to go to work, whatever the case may be. So first we'll start with the number 1. The first one I want to start with is oversleeping. I know some of us may feel like, I know as an educator that many of my peers that feel like it's okay to oversleep, but oversleeping may actually have some negative impacts and have a tendency to cause your energy level to be drained. So one of the things I want to talk about as far as regarding oversleep is an article that I found on WebMD, and what the article states is the physical side effects of oversleeping. And there's a video here. I will leave a link to the video at the bottom of this video. But what it says is, when it comes to sleep, can you have too much? Can you have too much of a good thing? It's true, a good night's sleep is essential for health, but oversleeping can be linked to a host of medical problems, including diabetes, heart disease, and increased risks of death. Researchers are careful to note, however, that 2 other factors, depression and low socioeconomic status, are strongly associated with oversleeping. Those 2 factors may be the reason for the observed negative health effects. For example, people of lower socioeconomic status may have less access to health care and therefore more undiagnosed illness, such as heart disease, which in turn may cause oversleeping. And then it goes into the article. Of course, I'll just read the first part and you can read the rest on your own. The amount of sleep you need varies significantly over the course of your lifetime. It depends on your age and activity level, as well as your general health and lifestyle habits. For instance, during periods of stress or illness, you may feel an increased need for sleep. But although sleep needs differ over time and from person to person, experts typically recommend that adults should sleep between 7 and 9 hours each night. So, well, with that being said, a lot of us are going to sleep and we're staying in the bed for whatever reason. I have things that I have to do in regards to my everyday life. I have a grandson, I have a wife, I have things that have to go on. I have chickens in my backyard, I have a garden I'm trying to grow. I also have plants that are on my porch that I am trying to tend to. I have tomatoes, all these other things. And so sleeping or staying in the bed for me, although it may be something that might feel good to be able to do so, I really don't have the time resource to be able to just sleep in the bed because of everything that I have going on. And I appreciate those things that I have going on, so it don't tend to cause me to oversleep. So therefore, in accordance and referencing my last video I'll leave a link to that video as well, you can do things like not eating food for a period of time I mean, again, I didn't really get into it, but say, for example, they call it breakfast, and so you go to sleep, say, at a certain time, let's say 8 o'clock. Well, if you sleep for 8 hours, well, that's 8 hours. And again, I shared that it takes 6 to 12 hours for your body to metabolize food so that you can not have the energy that you use to metabolize food go toward access of resources that you already have in your body. And in doing so, it will give you that energy so that you can do whatever it is that you need to do. So you allow that time to pass and it's not eating so that you can get that energy. But one of the things that can drain your energy, which you may think, again, according to the articles you heard, it could be number one, depression, or number two, social economic. I mean, many of us are dealing with issues when it comes down to that, but one of the things that if you're trying to get the energy to be able to do something to change your circumstance, staying in the bed and sleeping probably is not one of the best ideas. Now it takes me to number two. Number two, also in the interest of what could be an energy drain, that would be overthinking. There are times where, I have been guilty of overthinking, and this article that I found that was a pretty good one. It was written by a woman by the name of Amy Morin. She talks about 10 signs that you're an overthinker. I share this with you. Oftentimes, we tend to look at things and we feel like, oh, this is not the great way to do this, or that's not the great way to do this, and we spend a lot of time trying to overthink things. Sometimes when we're going to the store or we're trying to figure something, but here are some signs that if you don't think that you're an overthinker, maybe you can use this as a way of determining that. This is, although there's some evidence that suggests women are more likely to be overthinkers than men, which is why she included an entire chapter about it in her book, 13 Things Mentally Strong Women Don't Do. The truth is, everyone overthinks sometimes. Overthinking is a common issue. I address in my therapy office. She talks about what it is that she does to address this. Again, I'll leave a link to this in the description as well so that you can look at yourself. But I'll go into just two of them that she talks about here in this article. And it says, overthinking comes in two forms. Ruminating about the past and worrying about the future. It's different than problem solving. Problem solving involves thinking about a solution. Overthinking involves dwelling on the problem. Overthinking is also different than self-reflection. Healthy self-reflection is about learning something about yourself or gaining a new perspective about a situation. It's purposeful. Overthinking involves dwelling on how bad you feel and thinking about all the things you have no control over. It won't help you develop new insight. The difference between problem solving, self-reflection, and overthinking isn't about the amount of time you spend in deep thought. Time spent developing creative solutions or thinking from your behavior is productive. But time spent overthinking, whether it's 10 minutes or 10 hours, won't enhance your life. Again, I'll leave a link to this article in the description in the bottom of this video. But again, it's one of those things that can be draining. I mean, what is it that causes you to overthink? Well, let's think about it for a minute. One of the things that I understood whenever you are trying to figure out something or determine whether something is, one of the first things you determine is it worth my time thinking about it? If it's worth your time thinking about it, then okay, go ahead and do so. If it's something that you've done and you felt like you could do it better, well, and you want to think about it, that's good as well. But when you find yourself spending a long period of time having your brain engaged in something that is just simply not worth the time and overthinking, it can be draining. and that is energy that is not being used efficiently, and that you can use it doing more of a problem solve and getting past and getting to a point where you're getting things done, rather than spending so much energy just thinking about a task that you really nothing that you really can do anything about it. So all you're doing is spending a lot of time overthinking. Okay? Now, sometimes overthinking can cause you to do certain things that you don't want to do. And one of those things some of the things you want to do is you resort to maybe doing things that you normally do, like say consuming food or whatever the case may be. Which brings me to my third point. My third point that's also energy draining is overeating. Overeating. So, in an article by Livestrong.com, when it talks about the effects of overeating, indulging in a bit here and there may not seem to be a big deal, but the effects of overeating are serious and impact multiple areas of life. While overeating is often made easy by society, the long-term costs overweight outweigh the benefits of the extra bite. According to the Journal of the American College of Nutrition, overeating has serious health and financial consequences that no one should overlook. Well, let's look at the metabolic effects, because it's one of the things that I think about, because a part of the things that caused me to have the problem with overeating was it ultimately led to having a debilitating disease that I feel, which is diabetes, which also led to high blood pressure, you have issues with your heart, whatever the case may be. So the metabolic effects of overeating is harmful effect on the body's metabolism. In the February 5th, 2010 issue of Cell, researchers at Harvard School of Public Health report that overeating may destroy your body's regular metabolic response. In your body, there is a molecule called RNA dependent protein kinase, or PKR. This molecule points out and fights viruses with other molecules. But researchers say that if you overeat, it also attacks metabolism. When you eat too much, excess nutrients attack cells that contain PKR, and its response is to fight back by shutting down metabolism, because all of these extra nutrients are perceived as a threat. This can lead to metabolic disorders such as diabetes and obesity. Although the study was performed on mice, researchers state that it gives them a better understanding of PKR and help educate on how diet affects disease. So, here again, when we're talking about the impact of overeating, in the video that I just presented in regards to intermittent fasting, you may want to reconsider when it is that you're deciding to eat a little bit more. I know that sometimes when your energy is drained and you're really dealing with things, and the only way that you can seem to manage dealing with the issue is to eat an extra bite of food, maybe you want to reconsider that, because in doing so you will drain your energy. Another thing that overeating does when you're trying to do a task, whatever the case may be, I don't know how many of you, eat lunch or whatever it is that you do at work, but if you notice, after lunch, you seem to have less energy than you did before lunch. And part of that reason is we all breathe oxygen, and that oxygen comes into our body and is designed to help us function, and our cells need it so that mitochondria can use it to give us the energy we need so it can do its jobs. The skin cells doing what they're supposed to do, your organs are functioning, whatever the case may be. But what happens is when you eat, now that oxygen that you're breathing has to be used to digest food. And if that oxygen is being used to digest food, what's happening to the oxygen that's supposed to be going to your brain? Well, guess what? It can't be used. And so therefore now that oxygen now has to take some of that oxygen to help digest that food. It's causing you to feel euphoric. and sleepy until your body is done using the oxygen to help digest that food to now give your brain the oxygen it needs to be able to get you back to focus and function the way you normally do. But if you're overeating, you're draining your energy. You're draining your energy, you're losing time and things that you can be doing with that energy because you are overeating with food. Now, have I been guilty of it? Absolutely. But that's what, again, the benefits and appreciation comes in with intermittent fasting, is because now I'm not overeating, and without overeating, now I could use my energy to do so many other things. And I appreciate the energy that I get, because now food is not becoming my source every time anything is wrong. I'm now focusing on not eating and maybe thinking about how I could better deal with whatever's going on, because I'm getting proper oxygen supply to my brain. Again, as I stated in my other video, the BDNF and the HGH is doing everything that is needed to, because my body is now working on doing those things rather than digesting food. Okay, so let's talk about number 4. Number 4 is clinging to trivial opinions. Clinging to trivial opinions. So you wonder, well, everybody has an opinion. Why can't I just have an opinion about something that I feel strongly about? That's fine. But do you really want to waste your time having an opinion that's really not going to do you any good, or take you away from focusing on what it is that really matter? Now, I'm not talking about those things where if you're having a conversation with your family member or with your children and you have an interaction, what have you, but I'm talking about a lot of the things that occur as a result of a lot of things that you see going on in social media. So, that brings me to this article that I found here, where it says, The Peace of Not Having an Opinion. It's an article by Miracle-Gro, and it says here, he has a quote, we cling to our own point of view as though everything depended on it. Yet our opinions have no premise. Like autumn and winter, they gradually pass away. So in this article, he talks about the opinion overload. So, and how he starts is something that is just so relevant to me. And it states, today social media and traditional media to some extent play a major role in steering our eyeballs and attention towards emotionally charged topics, politics, religion, social issues, to name a few. We usually have strong attitudes and beliefs that compel us to engage more fervently. And because it's so easy to go online and say whatever comes to mind without much thought, we find ourselves engulfed in heated arguments that go beyond healthy and respectful debate. Before we know it, the argument turns into battles of the egos. We think things too seriously and spend our hours upon hours trying to validate our views. And we forget to ask the most important question. What's the point? Why does it matter? Why do we care? And if you don't care, why would you spend your time doing it? One of the things I thought about, I don't know if this is something that just came to me or something that I heard, whatever the case may be, but if it's something that I don't care nothing about, why do I want to spend my time thinking about it? Why do I want to sit and argue with someone back and forth about something I really don't care nothing about? Not to mention, my energy is too valuable to me that I could be using it towards something more productive than to be sitting there arguing with something about something that don't even matter. If it don't matter, let it go. Don't worry about it. Ain't no time to be spending valuable energy draining yourself on something that you really don't care nothing about. And if someone has an opinion, let it be their problem. Don't make it yours. And if you feel like that's something that's draining your energy, draining your time, taking away from something that you really care about, stop doing it. Plain and simple. Figure out something else we'll do. If you think it's somebody that you care about their feelings that much, about what it is that's going on, hey, think of something else that you can do. Walk away. Whatever you need to do, do not allow your precious, valuable energy that you can use towards something else, bettering yourself, maybe making some money, or figuring out how you can get healthier and help your family be healthier, or those who you care about get healthier. Spend your energy doing that, not engaging in all this nonsense that you are dealing with on social media, or even in person. If you're talking to somebody and they're saying things, you change the subject, or simply say something that you think will make them walk away, or just simply walk away. I mean, what are they going to do? Chase you down and force their opinion down your throat? Somehow I've never seen it done. And if that's the case, then that's criminal. Then something needs to be done about that. But stop wasting time on things that does not matter, that simply do not matter. It's not helping you as far as your energy level, because it's, quite frankly, it's robbing you of your energy. Not to mention, your time is your most precious resource. Out of everything that you will spend in this lifetime, the one thing that you will never get back is your time. Stop using it on things that don't matter. Somewhere I heard before they said, do not cast your pearls before the swine. Think about it. If someone has an opinion about something, you're not going to change it. And since you're not going to change it, don't attempt to. Let them have their opinion. All right. Now, it brings me down to my last one for this particular series. Again, there's going to be more to come. And that is setting goals which you can't control. Setting goals which you cannot control. A lot of times, many of us, we want to become very educated so that we can take the education on something that we care about, and in that education we could use that to go to work and become very successful and make money at it. Some of us want to be able to talk to a whole bunch of people all at once. You got some information that you're itching to want to give someone, and you want to give that information up. You just want to give it to them. But how would you get it to them all at once? I mean, you can do it on social media. If you got a whole bunch of followers, they're attracted to you for one reason or another. Either you met them in person, or you met them while you were on social media, or however. If they feel like you got some value to say, you can. But there's some goals that you go to, and it's taking you through all these hoops, and it's costing you too much, and you look back and you realize, wait, I haven't got anywhere. But you want to set these goals. And I agree that you should set goals. But sometimes we are not taking the right path and not learning from our mistakes, and we keep making them over and over again. What is the definition of insanity? You know what it is, right? If you don't, I'll tell you. That is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. It's time to change that mindset. Stop doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. Realize what you're doing wrong. Look at other ways that you can do it and explore those ways of doing it. This leads me to an article that I found that talks about that. Why do you set unrealistic goals? This is on routine excellence. And so, in doing so, it says, for example, I'm going to lift weights 6 times a week and also do cardio 4 times a week. That's a goal that comes from a real person that I worked with to develop their fitness habits. At this time, this person had no fitness routine and was barely active. The mistake of setting unrealistic goals is a common and natural one. It's not something to be ashamed of, but it is something to address. In fact, unrealistic goals are so common that there's an area of psychological study based on understanding why they happen. So a link here that says the planning fallacy. What is the most likely consequence of setting unrealistic goals? If you set exceptionally unrealistic goals, you set yourself up for disappointment. Someone without an exercise habit is successfully start working out 20 times a week. I have an excellent habit and I would likely find it difficult, if not impossible. You will end up like this and you will be feeling like I am not going to be able to do this particular goal again. So, what do? You have to ration out your goals and take the realistic steps that is necessary to be able to achieve them. Take baby steps. There's no baby that comes out the womb and just hit the floor running. You have to take baby steps. And as you take these baby steps, when you master those baby steps, you start taking bigger steps. After a while, you'll notice, you'll look back and see what you have achieved, and you can master those goals. You don't want to bite off more than you can chew and then realize that you have now caused yourself to now yield time to recover from something that you attempted to do that caused you to not realize I set my goals up too high. And look, I am hurting as a result of it. So there it is. These are the 5 things that could drain your energy that you need to take a look at when you are now trying to get the energy that you need to be able to do whatever you need to do. This is the Energized Coach giving you some tips on recognizing and seeing the things that are draining your energy. I have more to come in future videos of which I discuss. This is not a complete list of all the things that can drain your energy, but I'm sure this is a list of some of the things that some of us are dealing with in regards to what it is that's draining our energy. We're sleeping too much, so we're oversleeping. We're thinking too much, so we're overthinking. We're eating too much, so we're overeating. We are we're clinging to trivial opinions and getting into unnecessary arguments that we should not be getting involved in, and it is draining us of our energy, as well as setting our goals too high and doing things where we know we're not ready to do those things, but we're tempted to do them and then getting hurt in the process, causing ourselves to lose not only our energy, but precious time because we really didn't think out what it is that we should have done when we decided to take on these goals. So this is just the first 5. I will continue to bring the other ones. In the meantime, take a look at these. Take a look at these articles. Click on them. Find out if it's something that you can use. I'm giving them to you. This way you really don't have to search for them yourselves. I've also given you some insight and some discussions about them so that it can kind of help you think about what it is that you're dealing with that could potentially causing you to drain your energy unnecessarily. You need it. I mean, you have families, you have work, and there's so many other things like hobbies and habits, and something I'll get into in later videos about what it is that you want to get involved in. But every time you consider them, you think, well, I done did this today, now I did that today. I am so tired, I can't do it. Wrong. You can. Stop having this, and I will deal with this in my later videos, the self-defeated mentality, because that's draining your energy too. You can do whatever it is you want to do. Just make sure that you're not doing other things that's interfering with that. I got some more tips that I want to share as well, things you can do even while you're sleeping that can help you also increase your energy as well. That's in a later video. Again, I don't want to put too much. This is one of those things that's just coming to me as I'm sharing with you this particular information on this video. This is Energized Coach, giving you the things that you can get to be able to give you the energy that you need so that you can do whatever it is that you need to do so that you can be the better you and maybe live the better life that you're looking for and having the energy to be able to do so. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I'm going to put a subscribe button maybe about right here. I'm going to put some other videos that you can also link as well. I hope that this video has given you what it is that you're looking for, and again, there's more videos to come that will also do the same. I appreciate you taking your time to listen through this video to the end. Love you. Get the energy you need so that you can be the you, and that you can be whatever you need to be to your family and friends that you need to be. Peace.